Today, I'm going to walk you through my exact process of creating the sky in this painting. There are so many important skills that we are going to practice in today's video. One of them is negative painting. And negative painting is when you paint around a shape to create that shape. And that is a very important skill when it comes to painting clouds in watercolor. So we're going to go over all of that today. We're going to work on watercolor timing and wet into wet painting. And it's a fantastic exercise to improve all of these important skills. I'm going to wet both sides of the paper, lay it back on my surface, and then we're going to start painting the sky. I'm using a sponge. I'm going to dampen this side of the paper. Now, what I am going to do is just leave, a little bit of the paper dry up here. Now, if you forget that, it's okay, but I might want to get more of a defined edge on one of those clouds. So it's hard to see on camera, but I wet the whole back of the paper and I left out some of this on the front of the paper. So we'll see how that turns out. Starting off, large mop brush. Now we're going to paint the gray part of the cloud, the underside of the cloud first. And so for that, I'm taking a little bit of ultramarine, a little bit of raw sienna, and some rose madder permanent. So just these three colors creates a nice subtle gray, put a little bit more warmth in there, a little more raw sienna. There we go. And that is going to be the underside of my clouds. So let's drop this in where we want the clouds to be, and you can skip around some of it. See, I have that white edge that I'm able to preserve, and that'll kind of be the main part of one of my clouds. And the little bits that I'm skipping around are going to be some lighter areas of the clouds as well. Okay, after that is done, we're going to move into some blue. So ultramarine blue or cobalt, whatever you like. I like mixing in some cerulean, and we want to go pretty strong on this. And we will come back in with a little more strength at the end, but let's do this first. Okay, the paper is damp. I'm coming in with a pretty loaded brush here. And remember, now we are painting around the white parts of the clouds. So I always say start big and chip away as you paint. You don't want to cover up too much of the white first. So it's really easy to cover up all your clouds when you're not meaning to. So cautiously paint around your clouds first, and then you can kind of, as you move through, paint around the ones you don't want. So let's see. There's not going to be a ton of clouds here. A few. I also try to vary my brush mark when I'm painting the sky. And remember, as we get further down, I'm using more water and more cerulean blue. I like how it granulates and gives us a nice feeling of distance. So the sky's going to get lighter as we get closer to that horizon line. Okay, I'll come back and worry about those other clouds in a minute. And as we get near the horizon, I'm going to put in a little bit of rose madder permanent, touch of raw sienna. I'm kind of warming it up, but I'm using some rose madder permanent as well, so it doesn't turn quite so green at the horizon. So that's a good sense of distance. See how much weaker it is here versus here? And we're going to go back up here and make it even a little stronger here in a minute. Okay, I'm going to leave that horizon just right there. And let's go ahead and get some stronger paint. This is the fun part. More ultramarine, cerulean, more paint, less water. Still sticking with my bigger brush here. And now we get to paint around the clouds even a little bit more. We can define the clouds a little bit more. Varying brush marks as we go. glancing at the reference, but knowing that I'm not gonna paint these clouds just like it is in the reference. I'm not trying to copy every little shape. That's never gonna work out. Just creating a feeling of the same type of sky. Okay, we're getting closer. Trying to make the shapes feel natural. Varying the brush mark. Coming right down to that hard edge and defining it a little bit. It's created a nice area of interest right here. I'm using a smaller brush, and I want to mix up more of that gray that I had earlier, but this time a little darker. You can even use some Payne's gray during this part. Okay, I'm going to take a damp brush, and I like this defined edge, but I want to soften some of that a little bit. I don't quite want that to be so hard. Yeah, just take away some of that pool of blue there and lift that off. All right, more of this gray. Taking out some of the moisture on a paper towel, and as the clouds get closer to the horizon, there's more of them. So the lines, the shadow lines, are a little closer together. I'm going to go over here, put a few shadows under these clouds as well. Just a few little lines to break up that area. Yeah, those lines are getting closer together as we get near the horizon. Just breaking up that area with some variety. There's something on this cloud that's bugging me. Take a little more of that gray. That's better. And there it is, the finished sky. Now, if you commit to painting 1 or 2 of these a week, you will see a vast improvement in how you paint your skies and clouds. And here is how that sky looks in my final painting. If you're ready to take a big step forward in your painting, I have a free video lesson just for you. The 7 secrets of fresh and powerful painting. Now, in this video lesson, I talk about how to plan your painting, how to mindfully paint your scene, and most importantly, how to put down your brush before you overwork your painting. Because overworking is one of the biggest issues in watercolor. We think the more that we add, the better that our painting is going to be, and often that is not the case. So once you sign up for this video lesson, I send you 2 things. I send you a pre-painting checklist, and you can use this checklist before every one of your paintings to make sure that you're thinking through these things before you get started. In addition to that, I send you my watercolor supplies guide. So if you have questions about paper, paints, or pigment, or anything like that, you can take a look at my watercolor supplies guide. Now, it's simple. If you want to get started with this video lesson, all you have to do is follow this link to get moving forward. I'll see you there.